There are many benefits and a few limitations that clinicians should be aware of when they are utilizing GAS in their practice. One of the major benefits noted by researchers is that GAS allows researchers to document change over time in an efficient manner. Sometimes clinicians rely on percentage of objectives obtained over the course of their goals, but this doesn't account for partially attained goals or over attained goals. GAS can account for these partially and over attained goals. Also, many times in documenting, if goals have been met, you could only say if a goal has been met or has not been met. What's good about GAS is that inherently within goal attainment scaling, when describing how well a goal was attained, the number provides to what extent. Another benefit of using goal attainment scaling would be the versatility of populations that can be used. As was noted earlier in this course, there is a large range of populations that can be used with GAS. Geriatric, children, brain injury, and mental health, just to name a few. As Carol Conway mentioned earlier, GAS objectives and IEP goals work nicely together, so GAS seems like a good partnership in the schools. Now, Carol Conway will talk a little bit about what she feels may be advantages and challenges to using goal attainment scaling. The first clip focuses on how goal attainment scale goals encourage collaboration, which fits nicely with her school practice.
Another powerful mechanism for goal attainment scaling is that it can be used for collaborative goals. And in the schools, we often write collaborative goals with teachers. And so not only am I collecting data, the teacher's collecting data on the same goals, and we can then have a mechanism where we're collecting it in the same meaningful way that is research and evidence-based. The other thing I found very interesting about it is that the IEP goal and the way goal attainment scaling objectives are supposed to be written are very similar. They need to be relevant, understandable, measurable, behavioral, attainable, and within a time framework. So that fits into exactly what an IEP goal is. You are only to measure one variable, which is what I want to do in an IEP goal, and it has to be across time, and it needs to be functional. So they really meshed beautifully together.
Now she speaks on how goal attainment scaling is good at detecting small amounts of change.
The goal attainment scale also is very sensitive to small changes, and I'm in charge of writing what those small changes are. So it allows me to really see those changes and then have a way to numerically put a value to them.
Now Carol will talk a little bit about how utilizing GAS is useful with other standardized measures.
Oftentimes, the testing that we might start out in school is with standardized testing, but standardized tests don't measure the activities that a student will do in school. So a child can actually score very poorly on a standardized test, but be functioning fine in a school. Or a child can score average on a standardized test and still not be able to meet the demands of the school. So we cannot really use standardized testing as our only mechanism for qualifying a child at school and also for measuring change. So the goal attainment scale really allows for us to measure change in small increments in meaningful activities, which is what we are doing in school as occupational therapists.
Finally, we asked Carol if she has run into any challenges with her experience with goal attainment scaling.
I think one of the things that's most challenging me about writing IEP goals, as well as goal attainment scale objectives, is predicting the future or predicting the level of outcome that you want within that time. And I think some of that comes with experience, but it's something that is is useful for both IEP writing and for using the scale. Oftentimes when I'm doing progress notes, the child has made progress, but I haven't written a goal that shows that they've made progress. And so my hope with goal attainment scale is that because it can show small amounts of progress and it gives me a numerical outcome or a value, that I will be able to show progress better in my progress notes.
Some researchers have criticized goal attainment scaling for its subjectivity, but reliability and validity studies have been conducted. Specifically, Stoley in 1999 conducted a study in a geriatric rehab unit. The research team administered a list of assessments to 173 individuals upon admission to the facility and then administered those same assessments when they were discharged. The mean age of these participants were 81 years of age and 77% were female. The average length of stay for the 173 patients was 33 days. The standardized assessments that were used were the Barthol Index, the Older Americans Resources and Services Instrumental Activities of Daily Living Scale, Folstein Mini Mental State Examination, Nottingham Health Profile, Global Clinical Assessment, and of course, the Goal Attainment Scale. After data were collected and analyzed, results were reported. Inter-rater reliability was found to be high at 0.93. The validity scores were mixed. GAS scores at discharge strongly correlated with some standardized measures, strongly correlated with R greater than or equal to 0.50. These assessments that strongly correlated were the Global Clinical Assessment, Barthol Index, and OARS IADL scale. Goal attainment scale scores were less correlated with the other assessments, R greater than or equal to 0.31. These assessments included self-rated health, MMSE, and NHP. Responsiveness was found to be very good with goal attainment scaling. GAS was the most responsive of all the assessments. It is very responsive to small amounts of change. Other assessments did not pick up on these small improvements that the individual made during their 33-day stay. In conclusion, the authors state that GAS is a reliable, valid, and responsive outcome measure in the geriatric population. There are varying amounts of reliability and validity of GAS. Since there is not much evidence regarding GAS and its reliability, this is something that needs further research. Since goals are individualized, researchers have noted that establishing validity and reliability can be difficult. Schlosser suggests that validity and reliability can be better established on a case-by-case basis. Since goals are individualized, he suggests that biases can occur, thus rating has a possibility of being subjective. In conclusion, we can see that there are many advantages and some disadvantages to using goal attainment scaling. Yes, these goals take time to make, but once goals are scaled, evaluating is easy. All of the work is done when scaling the goals, so you will spend less time evaluating if goals have been met or not. Using your clinical judgment and practice will help you better predict the outcome of your clients, so in time, predicting the level of outcome will not be as challenging. Finally, as can be seen from the validity and reliability study by Stoley, GAS can be a reliable and valid measure to use with clients. Still, more research should be conducted in reliability and validity of this measure